No, we need to. Yes, we can see. Oh god.
Hello, everyone. Just a quick insight into what goes on behind the scenes, just for a second. But thank you to everyone who is joining us for this game against FrostTails Esports. Coming off of a win, both teams going into this, another win against Team Rats on the weekend for VanirQuick going into this game. I'm joined by Kyoya. How are you doing, Xander?
Doing amazing. I just came off of a game of Riftbound. I lost, unfortunately, but I'm so ready to be here and casting for VanirQuick again. It's been a little minute since I was last here. I think the last stream I was here was season 8 when the guys played Mew 3. Very dominant win as well. So hopefully they can keep that same showing that I saw last time into these games, and I'm sure it'll be a good one against FrostTails, as you said.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll keep things rolling as we go into the first game, as the teams will not obviously wait for us in Face It, but it looks like it's FrostTails going in with that hazard composition, which less are seen at the moment, but they aren't going to get the first kill either, as Kale takes down Joden, and now Mapsy just being trapped in here with the recently buffed Reaper. And the Mauga is going to be too much for FrostTails to deal with, and it is going to be VanirQuick that looks like they are going to take the objective first. A little stagger as well, perfect onto Proxy. It's just going to allow for even more time. It is going to be FrostTails forced to back up after BQ take the first objective.
Very quick dominant fight. We didn't get to see too much of the start of that, but it was very clear that VanirQuick are just looking very good on this Mauga comp. Central Apan just diving straight onto Proxy, getting that good stagger. Central Apan caught a little bit out of position there. Falls really weak, but Tomix with that Suzu's able to carry him, get him back up into HP as VanirQuick getting up to 25%. Another fight is breaking out.
Slam in from Apan into the backline, catches onto Flirt Nation as an immediate kill. Traded out onto Kale, but it looks like the survivability is going to be there for the rest of the team. No worries about losing the Lucio in that fight. We'll be back quickly. And Zora looks so comfortable with the shield.
Yeah, I like the Xion. I like seeing it. It's a cool character to watch. It's a cool character to play as. Feels very strong. Obviously, there's a little bit of that nerf just after she first came out, but Tomex ripping that Kitsune rush, looking to dive straight into Frosttail spawn, creating a lot of damage here. Mapsy's down a Meg. Mapsy caught in that Baby Diva form as well. Execute lands decently on to Joden, as eventually does fall. Zoro, as you said, looking so strong on the Xion, and as the rest of VanirQuick is looking so strong in all their respective roles. They're looking up to 70% now, and still in the spawn of FrostTails.
Yeah, and you look at the ults coming through, it's basically 4 online. Mapsy had to switch over to the Diva after the first initial fight. Joden switching characters left, right, and center now onto the Traitor, trying to apply some pressure onto Zoro, but Elias has found Fatsan trying to get into the rest of the team. Here comes the ult bank, and they just decimate them in the face of the Kitsune rush there, 85%. It's going to be a difficult touch back in. The self-destruct used by Mapsy to try and get back, and Zoro's been found by Joden, so this fight not over yet, and considering what's been used in this fight, it is really one that VQ don't want to give out here. Kale going down low, but he forced Mapsy away, and Joden's able to get the kill. Tomek still undercover here at the back of site, trying to stay with the rest of the team as the DPS come back in to help with this fight now. 99% for VQ, but it switches over to the other side. Suzu saves Apan, but they are going to have to recollect themselves.
Joden absolutely pivotal for FrostTails. They're going to be very valuable picks, opening up that game for FrostTails to come back in, take that point. Up to 15% now. Elias does find Joden. That's a really big opening pick for VanirQuick to respond into this. Central Apan now takes charge of that point. Mapsy just pressured into his side lane.
Tomex has found the Kitsu here as well. It's ramped over and 3 quick kills, no supports left for FrostTails. Surely this should be the flip that comes back in and secures this first objective. Joden's going to touch, hit the recall, but how much more can you do in this situation? Going to try and dash on again, gets it, but Elias is quick to shut that down. Now Mapsy out from underground, trying to do a little bit more here. Going to be forced out of the mech just before building that nuke, and not able to get through there. Kale's the one to finish it off. The rest of the team go in one by one, trying to stall out, but it's not going to be enough. Zora getting the final kill onto Satsan before that round finishes. And besides Joden, really not getting too much going for FrostTails. It looked very clean there for VQ. Only the 3 deaths on their side.
Yeah, a very slow start for FrostTails. Eventually, Joden being able to get a couple of those picks. Only 3 eliminations in that first point, but 2 of which being very pivotal to get them onto that point, capture. Didn't last too long though, as Elias was able to get a really big opening pick to flip that fight back into VanirQuick's favor. Lots of just singular touches coming out, not too much of a team regrouping and be able to get that touch, but I mean, FrostTails just didn't have too much of an option there. They just had to keep pressuring, keep putting that point into overtime, but VanirQuick just shutting down each and every touch, and eventually they ran out of players to put bodies on that point, and VanirQuick very confidently, very cleanly taking that first point here on Oasis.
Elias switching over to the Vendetta here on this second objective. Trying to get through, going to be forced away by that wall, but just mounting pressure onto Mapsy, falling lower and lower, and eventually gets the boop off the edge of the map, and immediately with Joden going down as well, the rest of FrostTails has to back up and concede the capture.
Yeah, Elias, amazing there. Some very big picks. Zoro as well, getting a very aggressive pick there. Nation. Again, we're seeing this aggression from VanirQuick, just pushing right up into FrostTails spawn, creating so much pressure. Zatan falling very weak there, but Essential Apan's getting cut off by this wall now. It's looking a bit rough, but they're still keeping this aggression. They're still keeping so much damage onto FrostTails. Got to back away here, though.
Yeah, Suzu out of the back pocket for Tomex, but already halfway towards feeling crucial ults. Once again, Apan with the hard engage onto the backline, then decides to set the focus onto Mapsy. You can see Satsan able to take down Zoro with Proxy down so low, but can you finish off these final kills, as it looks like there are a lot low for FrostTails, and they're still being kept off of this objective. Mapsy finding a couple should be their way in now as Tomex falls, and Apan just trying to do something to disrupt this capture. Kale going to be the next one to go down, and eventually it is going to be a capture for FrostTails, their first and 0.
Yeah, Essential Apan falling very weak, is able to get back into the hands of the support, get carried back up, as now we're seeing a switch up. FrostTails now getting onto the aggression, as so many picks are going the way of FrostTails, and VanirQuick are on this back foot.
Yeah, not quite able to trap Zoro away from that spawn room, but it should be an aggressive burst out from spawn for VQ once again. Switching over to that Reaper once more is Elias, and they're just forcing Mapsy away, trying to get some sort of angle for a downpour here. Surely now trying to get onto the backline, forcing that Suzu, but can Mapsy survive long enough to invest it? Just about survives, gets around the corner. Both Kitsu's invested, but Apan's found Mapsy despite that downpour being invested. Kale stays alive as well with the help of Tomex, and it's all red once again for VQ. Elias has gone off the map somehow, not sure quite how that has happened, and Jordan's trying to disrupt the point as much as possible, but no kills to be found by the Tracer, and now as the point keeps sticking upwards, VQ will absolutely take this every day of the week.
Yeah, FrostTails dumping that Kitsune rush first gives VanirQuick the advantage there, and it was so clear that they did. A lot of damage onto Mapsy, doesn't give Mapsy the downpour exactly that they wanted. Had to invest it regardless, but unfortunately no value found out of it as they fell very weak, and now VanirQuick back in possession at that point, but very quickly FrostTails fight back into it and now reclaim it.
Yeah, beat push in from Kale, and now with the use of that spree as well, Zoro's able to find Satsan. Only 1 kill on the board so far, so trying to find a second, but Proxy is felled at the hands of Zoro. Trying to stay alive here now, trying to find Joden, but the pulse bomb goes wide from the Tracer, and Kale is making sure that TwerkNation has no say in this fight whatsoever. Not quite even able to get back onto the map. Point goes back into the control of VanirQuick, but it was a costly ability to get that flip over for FrostTails.
Yeah, it was very costly for FrostTails. It allowed VanirQuick to kind of, they kited everything, let FrostTails get back onto that point. It just let them take the fight at their timing, their advantage, and it allowed for VanirQuick to bring this point up to 95 as that cap potentially going the way of FrostTails to allow it. Touch goes out from VanirQuick, pressuring this up to 100%. It's going to push it into OT now as well, so it's getting a bit rough for FrostTails.
The ult banks run dry as well. They're going to have a downpour in this fight if Mapsy can stay alive, but you're looking at Elias and Tomex to be able to do the heavy carrying with the ult bank. Now they've invested the Kitsu rush, but they're down Kale. In the other side though, Proxy has fallen, so no Kiriko for FrostTails, and this should be a huge ability to invest this death spin from Elias with that newly enhanced perk as well. 99% goes back over to VanirQuick, and there's not going to be a chance for FrostTails to touch. First objective goes into VanirQuick's favor. First map, sorry, and I mean Elias 25-3, Apan 22-1. Sorry, 20-2. It's exactly what you want to see from the heavy hitters of VQ as they look to continue their reign to potentially be the third best team in this division and maybe get closer to trying and upsetting the balance as you look at that first two in GG and Team Peps.
Very dominant fashion here on Oasis. VanirQuick coming out with a bang. Even though Kale fell very early in that fight towards that map C downpour, didn't seem to matter too much for VanirQuick as the rest of the team were able to find so many picks. Zoro incredible on that shield and finding so many good picks. And I mean, the rest of the team have just looked so well knit, so tight together as this team. FrostTails just didn't seem to have too much of a time, too much of a chance of getting into that map. There is just everything they did seem to get shot out. VanirQuick just had these really nice times of being able to let FrostTails get the point and then just refighting it when they're ready to. It only gave FrostTails a couple extra percentage, maybe 20 at most, during these refights, and I mean, it looked perfect. VanirQuick looked exceptional today.
Yeah, absolutely. Kale the martyr for that fight, but it's just the fact that they were able to get those ults back as we look towards the second map, and I believe FrostTails have been quite quick in picking what they want to go to. Obviously, with the meta change up yesterday, there hasn't been too much time for these teams to adapt as we go over to Runa Sapi, and we'll see what the ban is as well, because this feels like it's quite a good Malga map in terms of the history of it, but
yep.
We'll see what FrostTails decide to do with the ban. I wouldn't be surprised to see them ban it, considering that they didn't want to go with the mirror. We'll see just a second what they decided to do, and it is going to be a Malga ban, so not too much of a surprise there in terms of what I was expecting from FrostTails. And the Lucio ban on the other side is interesting, considering that FrostTails didn't want to go over to that either.
Yeah, we didn't see FrostTails use that Lucio, and instead it was Kale on the side of VanirQuick that was opting to utilize this main support. So it does raise a couple of questions about what exactly they're wanting to run here and what exactly the response is to this Malga ban.
I feel like it's switching over to that Sig Mitsuki composition that we've seen since the start of Season 3. I wouldn't be surprised to see that in the slightest, as I'm just going to hit a quick pause, I believe. But I wouldn't be surprised to see that in the slightest. And yeah, that's exactly what we see as we go into the map. Both of these heroes largely unchanged. You can see Satchan just left, so gonna have to wait a second to get back. And I'm not too surprised to see Twerk Nation still stay on the Juno there for the speed control. That's pivotal to some maps like Push specifically, but having the Mitsuki allows you speed control of your own in slowing down the other team rather than speeding up your own.
Yeah, I think that's, exactly. We see that Lucio be banned out. That shuts not shuts out the, Vanir, what FrostTails want to do, but it does just allow a few more options for VanirQuick. And as you said, the Sigma Mizuki comp that we do see VanirQuick using or utilizing here, I doubt we'll see them switch it up. Now that we've gone into this pause, they unlikely will, but it's a strong comp. I like to see it. I like the Mizuki. I like to see what they're running in the FrostTails as well with that Juno. Typical pick for Juno there, especially now that Lucio's banned out. You don't have that speed. You have to use that speed ring in the Juno's arsenal. So I do kind of expect, especially, I mean, after we're seeing Oasis and seeing exactly how VanirQuick play, I don't doubt that VanirQuick will win out in this map here. FrostTails, they might be able to, give us a good, run for our money, but I think VanirQuick will probably easily take that momentum from Oasis here into Runa Sapi.
Yeah, I think FrostTails, you definitely need an explosive start here. You need some sort of momentum to go into your favor, because it didn't feel like it was there at all on Oasis. Even when you were able to win some of those fights, it felt like it was straight back in the next fight over to VQ. And yeah, you were getting some of those back caps in, being able to nick some percentage off, but it really didn't feel like they were anywhere near as stable in terms of those mid to late fights. And VanirQuick were just able to outlast them multiple times when you saw Mapsy dive in either on the D.Va or on the Hazard. It just wasn't quite there in terms of being able to outlast that entire fight, whereas the Mauga, with the help of Tomex as well, who I think has been playing incredibly well, getting 4 Kitsus in over 2 points, one that you basically full capped on your own without FrostTails really doing anything on the other side to hamper you. And then on the other side of Gardens, yeah, it was a little more back and forth, but you were able to get a second Kitsu out as well. And both times that was what felt like the decisive ult to be able to get those fight wins over the board and make sure that both of those map points were secured.
Yeah, there was no outlasting VanirQuick in there, even with the big opening pick into Kale, as we said in that last fight. Even that big opening pick of Kale, it ended up still going the way of VanirQuick. They just seem to have this ability to, even when they're down, they just stay steadfast and fight out in FrostTails, or fight out against FrostTails and keep that momentum going the whole way. And you know, big shout out to Tomex as well for building up as many Kitsunes as we've seen, and a lot of pivotal Suzus to keep Central Apan alive in very, very pivotal moments during Oasis. So, as we said, FrostTails just kind of need this explosive start. They need to, come out hitting. They need to come out fast. They need to break up that momentum that VanirQuick gathered in that first half. And we'll just have to see what they do.
Well, speaking of slowing the other team down, you see Elias on the Mei as well. Could absolutely ruin the day of Mapsy, especially if you're able to get up to that 3rd tier perk. Satsam down so low already, has to hide away, and this means that Mapsy's just going to take more and more damage. They're able to collapse in, and in fact it's the Chain that ends up getting the kill, and the rest of the team follow suit very, very quickly afterwards. This is not the start that FrostTails wanted in the slightest.
Not at all. Absolutely decimated. Just like that. Very quick picks going the way of VanirQuick, as FrostTails did get that push bot up to 8 meters, but of course that doesn't really matter when your entire team is out of the picture, and VanirQuick are able to bring it up to 16, as FrostTails are looking to fight back and looking to find some early picks and looking to find some early damage as Central Apan does fall really weak. VanirQuick gonna have to back up into the hands of the sports.
Yeah, have the cooldowns to be able to mitigate it though, and able to get back to full health. Holding the corner now is FrostTails. Sorry, looking for an angle on this cast, not quite being given the opportunity to get picked yet. Joden's going to be trying to hold this angle that Zoro's trying to get through on that Xion. More pressure now through that Mei wall, able to open up that angle slightly and make sure this push is a little bit more viable. Taking a few players down low, but not quite able to get any kills is Apan. And now, with the help of the Mei wall, they are just going to back up a little bit. TS1 decides no chance for you. But now that Kitsune rush has been building so quickly in that first map, comes through on the second as well for Tomex, able to get out of trouble as well. And once again, as soon as you get these ults online, it's devastating efficiency for VQ as they pick up forwards.
Yeah, they play so disciplined. They don't give up any space. They're not giving up any unnecessary picks. And as soon as that ult is built, as you said, they've only used one ult to just absolutely decimate FrostTails. VanirQuick have the rest there. They have 4 more ults coming up in these next fights. I mean, their discipline is looking absolutely spectacular.
And they're down a player as well, because Jordan's going to have to get on the interstate to get through back onto this objective. Space claiming Blizzard is there, and they've invested this Mitsuki ult as well, the Sanctuary, which means that Satsan's not going to be as contested with this overclock as you would potentially want. Kale is going to fall foul of that, but immediately traded out onto Joden. Looks like the rest of the team will fall, though, at the battery that has been invested from FrostTails. Still 3 ults in the back pocket as well for the next fight. Can they get forwards potentially towards their own forward spawn capture in this next couple of fights?
Yeah, that was a pretty expensive fight for VQ. 3 ults expended. They've only got that Kinetic Grasp available in the hands of Central Apan, and as you said, FrostTails still have 3 ults in their back pocket. They've got that downpour, they've got the orbital strike, they've got the spree from the Xion as well. FrostTails, if they can find some early openings here and expend some of these ults, it could spell a bit of disaster for VQ.
Early rain, they're going to use the Gravitic Flux and try and stop them from using that to full effectiveness, but Mapsy's found one, and Joden goes huge with a 3, taking down both DPS, turning round to make sure that the kills are found. 4 kills on the fight for Joden, and that should be forward spawn taken by FrostTails.
Yeah, absolutely stunning work from Joden there, getting 4 picks there, almost all 5 for that Xion. as VQ now have no ults in their back pocket. Tomex is building up to that kit rush, coming up on 65%. FrostTails only have that downpour readily available at 50% on that kit rush and OC.
Sorry, switch over to the Frey is interesting. We'll see how that goes, as the downpour is mostly cleansed by Tomex. Good use of the cooldown to make sure that ult doesn't really have much value. Now chained up is Mapsy, just trying to back away to the rest of the team, as they do now have the advantage, FrostTails. But building back in RVQ, they're making sure that this isn't an easy push and forcing Joden away. Proxy down low, has to be careful to make sure that that Kiriko survives, as this could be a roll immediately if they fall, but it could be a roll immediately if Mapsy falls as well. And Elias finding a second onto Proxy. Surely this is VQ's fight to lose, unless Satsan can go crazy. Tries to do as much as possible, but isn't going to find it. Joden going down as well to the hands of Elias, and it is going to be VanirQuick back with TS1 in their hands.
Tomex had that kit rush available, didn't feel the need to expend it in that fight, and very good job that they didn't, as that's now such a pivotal ult that could spell a very good time for VQ there. Landing a very nice kunai on that sliding Sojourn as well, which really helped that Sojourn get off the backline. But I mean, VQ seems to have a bit more of momentum in their favor, as both kit rushes now expended.
Yeah, kit rush to kit rush, but the Blizzard is there as well, and it's going to force Mapsy back, sprinting away from the rest of their team. Proxy tries to save him, but finds the icicle of Elias, and now Mapsy's the only one left. Tried to abandon the rest of the team just to survive, but it's going to be staggered out monumentally here. Surely, this is devastating, as the bot is already pushing as well in the hands of Tomex.
Yeah, beautiful work from VQ. 2 ults expended there. Now 3 in the pockets of VQ, with the bot finally back into their favor. I mean, VanirQuick, as I said, they seem to just have that momentum back into their favor, back into their hands. And now FrostTails on that back foot. They're looking to be a bit rough as they look to expend this OC.
Yeah, OC invested, but it's in the face of that Sanctuary. Zoro is able to find the first kill onto Joden as well. Mapsy's stuck in the bowler. There's no escape with Elias investing that wall as well. Just no way for that hazard to get out. Now VQ approach a full capture. Mapsy coming back in quickly from the spawn balls. He's going to try and put pace to that, but Joden's gone down again, and now you can see just how close VQ are to finishing off the map. Downpour in the hands of Mapsy. It has to be big. They've invested everything in here to try and keep VQ from the clutches of victory. Tomex falling should spell soon for this push initially for VQ, but Zoro's still trying to find something. Down on 1 HP, but surviving at the moment. Kill's not there to lend a hand, has to help out Central Apan. Eventually is going to fall. Elias is just going to stagger this as much as possible. It should be Zoro getting away, back to the waiting arms of Tomex to get that heal back up.
Desperation out of the camp of FrostTails in that fight. It looked so scary, super close to their spawn, but eventually they found a pick that they needed and a lot of damage that could not be sustained. And VanirQuick just had to back away, but back towards the midpoint, VanirQuick just have to hold it for 2 minutes. They don't particularly need to full push this. They just have to refrain from letting FrostTails get any more distance.
3 not doing nearly as much as Joden found in the last one, but Kale is able to be finished off by Mapsy. But here comes the Blizzard, and it immediately freezes Mapsy. Makes sure the tank has nowhere to go. Lands a nice icicle onto Twerk Nation as well, and the bot is back in control of VQ, making sure that they can do as much as possible in this fight. Try and build up some more ults. Tomex close to that Kitsune rush, as Satsan just tries to back away with his life. It's more space gained for VQ. It's more space that needs to be taken back by FrostTails.
Unfortunate miss on that rock, but the Gravitic Flux is now back out for VQ. Essential Outman does fall very weak, as both Kitsune rushes are out. Rock does not rush again.
It's later for Tomex, and it means that they can use it more to their advantage. Zoro finding 2 as well. The Freya going huge. Another bowler in. Finds a fourth as well. Oh, Central Apan makes sure that the final kill cannot be found by the Freya, but Zoro going big again on the Freya.
Beautiful from Zoro. Both DPS players from FrostTails and VanirQuick having a time of their life in this map. And again, back into the desperation state for FrostTails as the point is looming on their spawn.
Maxi caught out by that investment of the Sanctuary. Now you've got to invest a raid to try and get back in, but you don't have the tank to maintain the presence on the objective. Kill's going to try and find one, but it's immediately Suzu's back, but Satsan's fallen, and now there's a blizzard out on the objective. Maxi's going to stall, give up his life to be that frozen Captain America on the objective. Now they've sent Jordan in to try and find something. It's not going to be the case, though. It is going to be a full capture for VanirQuick. They're going to be able to get that full capture in. It's 28-3. Apan looking very at home on that Sigma after that first map with the dominance of the Malga, proving that he can get it done on several. And we'll take a look back quickly at Zoro's almost aces. This was absolutely ridiculous from the player for these two.
Absolutely beautiful shots out of Zoro. 4-man, and unfortunately Central Apan just taking that last shot.
He dies to that as well. He does, yeah. If it goes off quicker.
If it goes off quicker and Central Apan doesn't decide to take that kill, that's a 5-man for Zoro. And I mean, the switch up onto the Freya was good. It didn't look too good on the cast, Zoro, for the first little bit of that game, but you switch up onto that Freya and you looked absolutely amazing. As we saw towards that end. And I mean, again, the team is just cohering so well. So many good set plays, so many good bits of teamwork throughout that entire map. We've seen a wall to shut out Mapsy, cut him off from the rest of his team, put him into this corner, put him into that back foot, and allowed Zoro to get that easy bola off, and then just a bunch of free shots on to Mapsy, which just it completely shut that hazard out. And I mean, it looked a little bit rough towards that midpoint. FrostTails did eventually get a bit of momentum back into their favor, but I mean, VanirQuick just had the response to it and were able to switch the momentum back into their favor yet again. And just for the rest of the map, it seems absolutely no wrongs for VanirQuick, and they take Runasapi pretty confidently.
Yeah, the only fights that they really lost were when you're at the opponent's spawn doors and they were just able to flood out and overwhelm you at the end of the day. But FrostTails down 2-0, and it's now difficult in terms of where you want to go and what you want to ban, because you've already seen two different, completely different styles out from VanirQuick. You know, you had Elias and Apan on the Malga and the Reaper initially, and then the switch up onto that Sigma Mitsuki composition with the Mei as well. You can't ban out this team when you're looking at it now. What do you want? It's the lesser of two evils, rather than looking at, yeah, we're going to try and isolate one player that won't be able to do something, as really the only one that stayed in there was Tomex on that Kiriko. And what are you going to do? Ban the Kiriko? That's something that you've been playing yourself, so you're hampering yourself in that situation as well. Yeah,
FrostTails just don't have too many options when you've got a team such as VanirQuick who just are exceptionally versatile in what they can play. FrostTails, you just don't have too many options on what you can do. You just have to pick the lesser of the two evils and go for what you can potentially beat VanirQuick out on. But we'll just have to see as the map pick and bans are ready.
Yeah, we'll see what evil they've decided to go with, as they do have Hybrid Flashpoint Escort still available to them. Flashpoint really been stalwart, but King's Row, we talk about stalwarts on the hybrid mode, there is no more of a stalwart than King's Row. And it is going to favor that more brawly play style. So you look at that Malga and being able to take control of those objectives, and even the Mei as well on the defensive side. It's going to be so difficult to get through that first choke point without being isolated as the tank players. We've seen consistently Mapsy's been trying to deal pressure to that backline, but just getting isolated away. And then it's the decision of VanirQuick to go, okay, do we want to make sure that Mapsy's out of the fight and go over to it for the other team? Or do you want to see VanirQuick going for the backline and making sure the backline falls and you're leaving Mapsy as the only survivor? And both of those modes have worked well for them. The Sojin ban feels so questionable from FrostTails as well, because you haven't seen that out of Zoro. You've seen the Shion and you've seen Cass and then Freya out of Zoro at the moment. Yes, Sojin is still obviously very impactful in the meta, but that's what Satsan's been wanting to play over these first two maps. And you're taking that away from yourself. Instead, you look at the hazard ban from VanirQuick. That's taking out what Mapsy's been going to as the default for both of those first two maps. Yeah, you saw them come out on Ramatra early doors on Runasapi, but immediately that was switched over to Hazard, and that was what was stuck on for the rest of that fight, or the rest of that map entirely. And it's the same thing that was on Oasis as well. Yeah, you saw it different on that first objective of University, but on the second, it was switched straight back up to the Hazard. So it feels like it's taken a lot away in the ban phase from what you want to do if you are that side of FrostTails, and really it feels like it hasn't hurt VanirQuick all that much.
Yeah, I did obviously see the Sojourn ban as it came out, and I did think we haven't seen any either of the VQ players or either the VQ DPS on that Sojourn. We've only seen the FrostTails players play it, and that just raises so many questions as to what the calms were behind that Soj ban. We see Satan now on that Cass, and I mean, I'm not too sure what this could entail for how this map could go.
I mean, you're trying to find that initial pick. Immediately you find that Sigma shield in your face, and it's going to be a switch over to that Symmetra, which is a difficult matchup for the Sigma to be able to deal with, especially if you're able to TP up onto that high ground. But they're all grouped up here, VQ. It's not isolating apart from Elias, but really you can't shut down Farah on that Symmetra. Elias is just going to be raining down damage onto this high ground as Mapsy just looks to try and force the objective now, seeing that there's no real chance to get up onto that position that's been fortified by VanirQuick. Just trying to go back up there again, perhaps with a TP as well from the likes of Joden, the likes of Satan going up to that high ground, but Mapsy's now fallen down low and is isolated away from the supports now, just about surviving, but you've got to wait until you can get back in with the rest of your team. You've already forced Proxy in there. You are trying to build up to a few of these key ults as well, and it's not as if they haven't been able to gain space here. They've been able to gain a bit, but Mapsy on that Orisa, it feels like it's just a bit more consistent than the Hazard, and Mapsy finding the first kill onto Zoro there is huge. The maneuverability of the Cass not quite as much as the Sojourn, so at least that's gone in your favor as Mapsy now looks to control this first objective and make sure that the street phase is in the future of FrostTails.
Yeah, it's a rough fight to get into for FrostTails here. Looks to be another fight going out as VanirQuick looks to fight back into it. Thomas has to expend. This kid's in a rush. If FrostTails have the advantage on it, they have that later kit rush. Zatan now using this Deadeye to create a lot more space. Central Apan about to be caught out, but the boop is there. It saves Apan's life. Falls very weak, but so is Mapsy. Zoro gets a beautiful stun there onto Zatan. Central Apan finds the last shot onto him, and a very nice fight back into this. FrostTails get those first two little points onto the checkpoint, but have to just leave it.
Yeah, Zoro really does not feel too restrained by this cast now. Just picking up that hotel angle and being able to decimate from there. I believe it was 3 early on in that fight, and now you look at the ults that are on the board for VanirQuick. Yes, you're not too far away for some of them for FrostTails, but you've just lost that Terror Surge that's been invested to switch over to the D.Va now. And now you look at this Gravitic Flux for Apan picking up Satan, and it means that Joden's isolated. All eyes onto the flying cowboy means that the supports aren't able to stabilize the rest of the team, and they all fall down eventually. And it's now another fight win for VQ.
I mean, VQ just looked spectacular on this defense. They played that high ground so well. They can't allow FrostTails to get too much of that space. FrostTails just have too many LOS to deal with there, and it just allows VQ to dominate most of that early space. They gave up part of the point there, but a beautiful fight back into with that kit rush just allowed them to shut it out, bring this momentum back into their favor, and it looks beautiful so far.
Here comes the Ray. And the investment here is big, but Elias is shut down trying to go for that barrage as well. Kale trying to get away from the sights of Mapsy, but caught out in the open from that TP. Now Joden trying to put the pressure onto Apan. Surely does fall. Tomek's the next one in the sights, and it is finally a point capture for FrostTails, but with only 20 seconds left. It's not going to be a massive time bank for this second street.
Yeah. A very costly fight on both, or sorry, not particularly on FrostTails' side. Only really 2 ults invested there, as VQ had to expend basically everything in their arsenal. And, I mean, yeah, 20 seconds left in the clock for FrostTails on that first point capture. It doesn't give them too much of a time bank now to deal with in these streets. But I mean, VanirQuick, I think with how much they've shown on this defensive side so far, I think Streets could be a spectacular point of contention for them.
Yeah, Elias switching back over to that Mei that dominated Runa Safi. Here comes that Kitsune rush. It's a good wall from Elias just to slow him down for now. Make sure they can't get the most use of it, but they're going to have to kite this. They give away the space in revenge for their lives. Mapsy just trying to do something with that bomb. Not going to be able to do too much, but able to stay alive at the very least. As Apan trying to stage forwards here with that Gravitic box, able to pick him up, but Joden's controlling the space really well on that Symmetra, means that the rest of the team can't be isolated in the skies. Mapsy has fallen out of neck though, and surely this should be a fight win for VQ. Maybe not if they lose Zoro. It's the Baby Divas trying to get forwards, trying to build that mech back up, but Mapsy is going to fall eventually. Joden now has a second wall to invest, but not going to be given the chance, and that's a long, lengthy fight that's going to be lost eventually, with a lot of stagger onto Proxy as well.
Yeah, it was looking a bit rough. FrostTails had nice ults to keep the pressure onto VQ, keep them backed up towards that point capture, but eventually VQ found that crack in the system. They found a space to get into. I mean, Joden's been a big thorn in the side for VQ. This consistent damage, this consistent pressure with that TP has been very annoying to deal with. Eventually, it was dealt with, but it could be a source of, it could be a big point for FrostTails to exploit.
Oh, Mapsy's in so much trouble here, just about survives with the help of that sim wall, but the rest of the team going down low. Maybe a wasted Suzu there from Tomex as they give away the space once more, but they have this Kitsu to bring it back in, and Elias is using that Blizzard to full effect. Sazan finding death as well, and now you can hear that music ramping up, which means that there's not much time left on the clock for FrostTails. They should have one more fight with both support ults, but 15 seconds is going to be under a lot of pressure.
VanirQuick seemed to have a bit more of an ult advantage here as Mapsy now switched to that Doomfist, loses out on a lot of that percentage that they had on that on the previous tank, but VQ both have both
Where's
their
this
spots.
touch come in though?
There it is.
Mapsy able to get in just about, and now trying to invest everything in here. Proxy's being hunted down by Apan and Elias, but maybe this leaves a squishy underbelly of VanirQuick open
Beautiful.
To the rest of FrostTails. No chance. Apan is claiming this objective, claiming the streets for VanirQuick, and it is going to be a shutdown on this second objective for VQ. FrostTails left with nowhere to go. They invested everything they could into that fight, and it wasn't quite enough. By the way the momentum has been going, you'd favor VanirQuick on their attacking side to make this a quick 3-0, and really, I don't see FrostTails coming back into this unless they find some sort of ridiculous gimmick to get themselves back in.
Yeah, I mean, VQ looked spectacular there. FrostTails had all 5 players in that final fight, but as I said, the ult advantage just really favored VQ there. FrostTails only had both their support ults. They lost out on any percentage towards that tank ult as well with that swap onto Doomfist, but it was a necessary swap to get that touch in, and with the hunting down of Proxy, it just shut out one of the main supports or one of the supports for FrostTails, and once Proxy was gone, VQ were able to regroup as that 5 against 4. It was completely won out in Central Apan as well with that Gravitic Flux. It was absolutely perfect. Not a single thing could have went wrong there for VQ, I don't think. And I just saw no realm of reality where FrostTails ever won out on that fight.
Yeah, you saw Twerk Nation hover that Mitsuki, which was pretty much if you can't beat him, join him, but going for the Queen instead. She has had a bit of a buff recently, but I don't know whether it's enough to bring her into the contention
I don't think it was.
of this composition that's on the other side for them.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the Queen swap. Really. She needs that Brawler, or sorry, that Bruiser subclass to really be better than she was, and obviously without that, I'm not too sure how she will fare into this, but we'll see what Mapsy can do if they really favor this pick. But I mean, VanirQuick coming out with a very quick fight and a very aggro showing we've seen throughout this entire series.
Yes, an absolute burst out from spawn, and Mapsy goes down before that can recharge. Yes, he got it a little bit quicker, but not quick enough. Sorry, they will find Joden as well in the trade. Sazan trying to do as much as possible, but going to be chained out of the sky, and it's a very quick first capture for VanirQuick as they look to really build a big time bank and make sure they can get onto second.
Yeah, absolutely no touch coming in from FrostTails here. Not even possible to touch it. Even if it was possible, I don't think they'd really favor it. They need to, they need to hold this arch. They cannot let VanirQuick get any sort of momentum past this arch. Otherwise, it is a guaranteed loss. Central Outbank going back to the spawn room, switching off of that Sigma now on to
they have the time
the Matra. Yeah, they absolutely have plenty of time to do what they want to do. They've got plenty of time to take things slow, work the map, work FrostTails exactly how they want to work. And I mean, VanirQuick, they've just got so much. Oh.
Yeah, it's devastation. The CC's just too much. This 3 quick kills, it's gonna be realistically a decimation. The team kill bell rings out, and it's gonna be a mad dash from FrostTails to get back from spawn here.
Yeah, clean sweep, 5-man there. Absolutely nothing that FrostTails could have done. It was really beautifully played by VanirQuick. As Mapsy's getting shut out on this Reinhardt so far. It's looking super rough for FrostTails. The charge isn't there, and they don't even get the touch. The charge goes straight into the wall. Can't get the charge onto point. There's no touch, and VanirQuick in a very, very convincing 3-0. They really are looking to be one of the top contenders of Masters Season 9.
Yeah, and this is an absolute statement, right? They've come in here, they've wanted to show exactly what they can do. They know the only maps that they've dropped this season have been to both Peps and GG. And, I mean, Appam really proving the worst on the Sigma, going over to that Ramatra as well, and for the little that we saw of it, looked very, very comfortable. VQ really coming out early and putting pay to whatever FrostTails wanted to do, and it's going to be a quick 3-0 for VanirQuick, living up to the namesake, going up to 7-2, and fulfilling that third place spot that's currently occupied by Wasp Esports. They might lose it by the end of the day, as Wasp are playing a game that would take them up to 8-3 if they are able to win it, and they've taken that first map. But at the end of the day, VQ have already beaten Wasp, and it feels like they are the team to beat for that third place contention. The best of the rest, if you are going by that metric. But again, Good Guys have lost 6 maps so far this split, and none of them were to VQ. Both of those VQ games against Good Guys and Team Peps were quite a clean win for both of those teams, and you're looking at VanirQuick to be the one that really puts pressure on those two top teams, means that they can't rest on those laurels, and make sure that potentially there could be an upset in the works when we get forwards towards the playoffs and you're starting to play those teams again.
Yeah, it's looking to be that VanirQuick just need to hold on to that third place, put that pressure on to these top teams, as you said. And as we do take a look at the map roundup, it was exceptionally dominant across the board. Oasis, a sheer domination from VQ. Runasapi did get a little bit hairy towards that mid section of the map, but VanirQuick flipped it back into their favor very convincingly in King's Row. I mean, we just saw it. We saw the sheer decimation of FrostTails in the streets of London. And I mean, yeah, as you said, VanirQuick look spectacular. Obviously, the top 2 teams are the ones to beat, the ones to look towards. But VanirQuick looking to be that solid third place, obviously depending on the Wasp results after today, but definitely looking to be the strong third place contender in this season.
Yeah, the Swedish core looks strong. Tomex making sure to add to that as well, especially the Team Estonia player switching over to Team Austria, are unfortunately not able to qualify through, but this Swedish core now that VanirQuick has seems to have come into their own. It took a little bit to get in there, but now when they're able to come up against these teams and the momentum that they're going to have heading into the playoffs, right? If you're able to win these final few matches, which we're going to have a very, very stacked week next week to be able to make sure that these matches are played. But in the meantime, you're looking at a lot of pressure being built up against these top 2 teams, seeing VanirQuick charging up behind them. It's the train that's at the back end of the tunnel, and that light is getting closer and closer as VanirQuick goes on. And I really want to see what this team can do next week and how they will be prepared going into the playoffs, because I think they really have a shot at getting into that top 2 and breaking through that glass ceiling that they've been trying to now for a couple of seasons.
Yeah, it's a very exciting team to watch. It's a very exciting team to follow closely. And as we said, we do move into playoffs. It does seem like VanirQuick have this potential. They have this very aggressive playstyle. They can definitely be one of these teams to finally break through and break into that top 2 contention. They'll just need to keep going. This is the Swedish core have come into their own. They've looked really, really good as a team. Their sheer amount of teamwork, the amount of cohesion that we've seen through today and through the rest of the season has been spectacular to watch. And as I said, going into playoffs, it's really exciting stuff to look forward to. A very stacked week, as we just mentioned as well. So it's definitely a team to keep your eye on in root 4 as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, just before we leave you guys for today, we're going to give a quick shout out to the team that has made this possible. Obviously, you see me and Xander in front of the cam, but behind it, we've got our producer Lagalev, our observers Bert and Luau, and Bert has also been our lobby admin. And once again, a huge thank you to Respawn.io for supplying us the package to be able to bring you this incredible show today. But now, without further ado, after a very quick 3-0, we are going to give you guys a quick goodbye. We will see you all again when the next VQ match is up. Stay tuned here to make sure that you can follow the runs through and, of course, the playoffs that are just around the corner now. From everyone here at VQ, goodbye for now, and we'll see you soon.